Here's how I make a quick and simple mix of a live band recording. It's a really simple recording. We only have 6 tracks, but the reason we recorded it and the reason I'm giving it a quick, simple mix is because I want to know what the band actually sounds like. So we're not going to be mucking around with it too much. We really want to get an idea for the sound of the band. We recorded 6 tracks, so it's really simple. We have a kick, we have 1 overhead mic, we have a direct input bass, we have a guitar, some keys, and a vocal track. I'll be using EQ on each track, some compression. I'm going to send the tracks on a reverb bus because the room that we recorded in is super dry, so I definitely want some reverb. And then we'll be playing with the levels mostly. By keeping it simple, we'll know what the band actually sounds like. Now this is my session. Quickly before I start, I also want to color code it. Now one interesting thing about the session that we're doing today is we only have 2 drum mics, only 1 kick and 1 overhead microphone. This is super simple. And the reason we recorded it like this is simply because we didn't have any more mics. It'll be fine since we were mixing in mono anyway. But don't expect a professional studio recording. So let's give it a quick listen before we do anything. Let's mute all of this and start with the drums, starting with a kick EQ. I actually really like using Logic presets for a lot of things. If you're a beginner, if you've never mixed before, or if you just want to do it quickly, I think using presets is absolutely fine. And Logic has a lot of really decent presets. I actually like this rock kick EQ. Let's go with that. With compression, it's kind of the same thing. I'm gonna go with the rock kick preset, and then I'm just gonna adjust the threshold. What I really like about these Logic compressors is that they have this graph that visually shows you how the compression is going. I'm just going to adjust the output gain a little bit downward so it matches the input gain more. Now to the overheads. Gonna start with an EQ again. Here I definitely want to add a low cut. And I like to add a little bit of belly to the snare. Maybe a little bit of high end because we use the rock kick compressor preset. We can also use the rock overheads compressor preset. Then we just adjust the threshold and the output gain again. Now our drums sound like this. Now the bass sounds especially wonky because it's just a DI signal. For the bass, I don't like to muck around with it too much. I think bass players should be in control of their own tone. I do like to add some high end most of the time, around the like 8K, 10K area. Go over here. EQ, compressor, try the electric bass preset. And now let's get a bass amp. Oh yeah, this already sounds way better than it did before. Now let's listen to the bass and the drums together. Okay, bass doesn't need to be very loud here. Okay, let's look at the guitar. For the guitars, I will start out with a low cut. Pretty extreme low cut. I also like to take away some frequencies between 5 and 800K. And then this is kind of just a thing of experience because I know how my guitar and my voice sounds, but my voice is gonna be right in this 200 hertz area. So I'm just gonna take away a little bit more here. For other singers and other bands, you might not want to do that. This band also has synthesizers though that also have a lot of frequencies in this mid-range. Don't take away too many of the mid-range frequencies, but in this case, I'm taking some away. I'm shelving it a little bit there. For guitar, I don't want that much compression. I'm not going to use a preset now. I like the Studio VCA and the way it sounds. So I'm just going to adjust my threshold, turn the ratio down a little bit, increase the attack maybe. I kind of want a medium fast attack and a medium fast release. Then what I do also like about these compressors is that you can add a little bit of distortion as well. I like to add this soft distortion, and then I check the output gain so that it's the same level as the input. Now for the keys, we definitely need another low cut. And then I'm taking away just a little bit of those like low mids. Looking at this track, you can already see huge leaps in volume, so we do need to compress this a lot. I'm just going to loop this chorus part here and really see if I can heavily compress this louder part and then this verse part. That'll be fine. Here I want a pretty fast attack, but for the keys I want a slow release. If I go back to the verse, which has a visibly lower level, and play it, the compressor is definitely not working as hard. After listening to it in context, I am going to get rid of some of the compression because even though the level in the chorus here looks much higher, listening to it, this piano sound in the chorus is not as obnoxious as the sound in the verse. So even though the sound in the verse is technically not as loud, it definitely cuts through the mix. I'm gonna decrease the compression threshold a bit again, not compress this piano sound so much. Now, lastly, let's look at the vocals. So vocals, immediately EQ, starting off with the low end. You got it bad. The vocals, I also like to take out some of the boomy ranges here, clean it up a bit. Please never, ever, ever leave again. I want to show you to all my friends. And I want to add a little high end. For the compression, Logic has a ton of presets again. I kind of like this vintage vocal one. Gain is super high, so I'm gonna decrease that first of all. Ever stop trying? You're so pretty and I like that about you. Okay, now we have some EQ and compression on all the tracks. You can see I've already played with the levels a little bit. Most of the time, you want the vocals to be the loudest, so they're the loudest here. This depends on the taste and the sound of your band. This band is supposed to be pretty guitar heavy with the vocals in the foreground. So guitar and vocals are the loudest. Maybe you don't know what to do. This was recorded in a super, super dry room. I actually want to send all of my tracks onto a reverb bus. Let's build a bus. We'll just use bus 1. Send everything on there a little bit. And then I actually really like the Logic Chroma Verb. Looks so sparkly and pretty. Okay, so this is just the reverb bus soloed out. I kind of like something like this. It's not too big and pretty dense in reflections. I do want more of a low cut on here though. I want the bass and the kick to be in the room a little bit, in the reverb room, really just a tiny little bit. Let's listen to the band with the reverb bus. Gonna lower the volume of the keys a little bit. Going to send more of the key signal to the room. Same with the guitar. Send more of the guitar to the room. Now the reason I'm not sending the vocals to any more of the room is because I want the vocals to be director in your face. And I like that about you. You're so nice and I like that about you. Now one more thing that I might add, just because I like it for the vocals, is a slap delay, which that's a pretty common practice in live shows as well, to add like a little effect like that on the vocals, but nothing huge. So for the slap delay, I'm going to build another bus, call this vocal delay. I'm going to use the Logic tape delay. And then the 16th note slap, I'm doing 100% wet because this is a send effect. I believe you can, you're so pretty and I like that about you. You're so nice and I like that about you. This is what the band sounds like, completely dry. Please never ever ever leave again. I want to show you to all my friends. You're so pretty. And with all the little tweaks that we did. Pretty and I like that about you. You're so nice and I like that about you. You're so smart and I like that about you. Still my heart and I like that about you. This gives you an idea of what this band could sound like playing this song at a live music venue. I think it sounds pretty good. It sounds pretty tight. I'm by no means a professional mixing engineer at all. I play guitar and sing here, and I wrote the song. But doing this kind of thing really helps get you a feel of what it'll actually sound like live, and it gives you a feel for what the front of house engineer is actually doing when you're on stage sound checking. Have a good day, and follow and like for more content like this.